Celica has a massive oil leak. It's either coming from the oil pan right where the rear main housing goes into the block. I didn't get enough silicone in there, or it's the rear main itself. Oh boy, here comes the storm. I literally just drove 2 hours and braved this incoming winter storm for you guys so that I could finish Toothless. But yeah, I'm here finishing Toothless, and I don't know if I'll be able to actually like drive it this weekend because my front tires are balder than bald, and I really don't want to wreck it since we're gonna get about 4 or 5 inches of snow at least. But let's get to work. Now, because I already did a full video of me taking out the transmission, I'm not going to film every single thing this time. So basically I'm going through the exact same process of taking everything off from the top, from the starter to the ground to the battery tray. The control cables for the transmission and the speedometer cable are pretty much the main things that you have to disconnect. So this is just the process of me going through that before I can take out the transmission. And then I'm going to show you guys exactly what was wrong with the car and why it was leaking everywhere. Of course, I had to disconnect the top mounts on this side of the transmission again and get all of that prepped and ready to come out. After I got everything out from the top, then I was ready to go ahead and remove the transmission to engine bolts and finally pull this transmission out again. I didn't get any actual footage of removing the transmission this time because we were just wanting to get it done as quickly as possible. If you guys are interested in more details on how I did that, I'll put a link above. And voila, here is the source of our leak. So this is the rear main housing. There is a gasket on it. That whole time I thought that there wasn't a gasket. I thought it was just kind of an oxidized part of the metal. My mistake. And unfortunately that is what caused the leak. So if you look up top here, that was definitely where the oil was leaking out from. The whole gasket was soaked. It was going out right there and dripping all the way down the housing. So I bought a new black metal gasket from Toyota, and I put in some RTV black silicone, the same as what I use right here on the oil pan, and I think that's going to fix the leak, and now I got to reseal the oil pan again. This is actually a new weekend, a new day. I was really close to finishing it that previous weekend, but I literally had worked on this car for like 14 hours each day, and I was just so exhausted. We were having troubles getting the axles to go in correctly on the passenger side. I felt like we were forcing it, so I just said, hey, let's stop, let's take a break, and we'll just come back and finish it later. So what we have left is the axles and the cross members, and then of course, you know, buttoning up the tie rod end and that sort of stuff. Easy things. Once that's done, I can get the wheels back on. We can get the transmission filled back up with gear oil, get oil back in the engine as well. We had to drain it because we removed the oil pan again, just in case that's where the leak was coming from too. We just wanted to cover all of our bases. Everything up top is done, but without further ado, let's continue on buttoning up Toothless. battling a bad ground there for a second. I was trying to start the car and I had no lights, no nothing. And then I'd get it to kind of start, or it would try to start and then it would completely die. And I realized that I forgot to tighten up the ground on the transmission. So I did that, I fixed it. I just ran the car, got it all the way up to operating temperature and no leaks. I'm so excited. In the midst of this, I also found the issue with the really super high idle. It idles at like 2,000 RPMs. When I put some pressure on this intake, the idle drops. And so I think that this aftermarket cold air intake isn't creating enough pressure to properly get the idle down. So I'm going to install the stock airbox off of Sakura onto here when I'm here next time, and I hopefully will be able to take you guys for a ride along. I can't do it in this video because we just got a ton of snow and these tires are completely bald and I ain't doing it. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up with the Toothless build. I'm going to be doing rust repair. I'm going to be revamping the body. I'm doing a full custom interior. It's going to be fun. So make sure to subscribe and stay up to date. So see you guys. Bye.